beloved friends and classmates. Today, we'll be talking with the author of the book The English Fall, written by David Williams. The English Fall is about an Amish family who experiences the Carrington event, or a massive solar storm that will be talked about in today's interview. As the world seems to begin to collapse around them, it shows their experiences and what it's like for them to live in such hard times. Sit back and take a chill pill. It's time for another episode of RA Interviews, starring Elijah Williams as host. Hello and welcome. Today we will be talking to the author of The English Fall, David Williams. So, can you explain the Carrington event, which is the main sort of solar storm that the book talks about?
The book draws its inspiration from something that's really happened that's part of history.
Continue.
The Carrington event was the largest recorded solar storm in human history. We're talking late 19th century, and the event's named the Carrington event because a member of the Royal Astronomical Association, Lord Carrington, was observing the sun, and he just, out of total chance, total luck, saw this huge distortion on the surface of the face of the sun. Remember, we're talking 19th century technology. That's difficult.
Right.
A lot of sunspots and all this flare activity. He reported that to the Royal Society in England. Within 2 days, the impact of that storm hit the Earth. And basically what that meant was that the Earth got hit by this huge, it's called a CME, or coronal mass ejection. It's all these charged particles blasted out from the sun. And smaller versions of that caused things like the aurora. When this storm hit, it caused aurora borealis, but not just up in the north, where our magnetic field, the magnetic field of the Earth, is weakest. There were aurora at the equator, basically the whole Earth, all the way around. And in the United States, it was observed and reported in local newspapers because aurora weren't just seen. The aurora borealis were so bright in the middle of the country, meaning like Colorado and places like New York and DC, that you could go out at night and it was like it was day. It was like the light, the whole sky came alight.
Were there speculations from religious groups that this might be the end of time?
Not at that point, because time didn't end. The only things that happened, remember, we're talking late 19th century, the sky lit up, everyone was like, whoa, that's bizarre. And then a few people were badly shocked when they touched electrical stuff. The other thing that it did was that it shorted out the telegraph system that at that point was being used in a limited way to communicate, because there wasn't a lot of electronics back then.
Right. What would be the effect of the Carrington event now?
Something that was a Carrington event or stronger, because there could be stronger storms. A Carrington event now would destroy our power grid. Things like that have happened in major solar storms up in the north. There was a solar storm back in the 90s that took out a substantial portion of Canada's grid. A major storm, like a huge storm like the Carrington event, would blow out all of the power grids all around the world. And it would go more than that because the atmosphere would be so highly charged. Sensitive electronics, meaning things like computers and basically everything, your phones, the electronics that run your cars,
the camera we're filming on,
the camera you're filming on, all of that stuff would be impacted by something like that in the same way that back during the Cold War we talk a lot about electromagnetic pulse, like just this blast of energy that would short out everything. And so it would basically wipe out all 20th and 21st century technology. Electronics would be gone.
In your book, are the effects of the Carrington event realistically portrayed?
As best as I could. A Carrington event, I researched it, did reading There's a great documentary on Nova that describes the impact of solar storms. I'd recommend to anybody, just go onto Netflix and you can find it. It's as realistic as I can make it, and I've run it by scientists who've read it and said, this is kind of how it would be like.
What gave you the idea for the story that has, most of the story talks about the Amish and how this would affect them? What inspired you to write the story about the Amish?
I've always found, as a Presbyterian minister, I'm fascinated by things with religion. I've always found Amish culture intriguing. I studied it as part of my religious studies program at undergraduate, but I've also continued to study them, and I think the idea of having a religious movement that's intentionally pre-technological is fascinating. So that's part of my fascination with it, but honestly, I was, at some point, found myself wondering what would happen to Amish culture if the rest of the world fell apart. And that meshed with my understanding of the scientific impact of things like solar storms, and at some point I was like, oh wow, this could make for a very interesting story.
For people out there who don't know, could you give just a short summary of what it is to be Amish? What it entails?
The Amish, the Old Order Amish, are they come out of the Baptist movement. They basically believe that having anything to do with worldly power corrupts you. This is a movement that came out of Germany and German culture. They immigrated to the United States. They settled mostly in Pennsylvania, but they've since spread throughout the United States. And they feel that having anything to do with government, power, or technology corrupts your ability to be a faithful person. You can't be non-violent if you're part of the broader society, and they stay away from technology. They don't vote. They don't. There are all sorts of things. Now the Amish are complicated. There are different Amish communities who believe different things, but it's a fascinating subsection of American society that's chosen intentionally not to progress with the rest of our culture.
In your book, The English Fall, the town that the Amish community is based around is the town of Lancaster. Have you actually been to said town, and is the town real?
Yeah, Lancaster, Pennsylvania is a real town. It's a real place. It is a center of Amish life. The community that I created is a mix of different forms of Amish community. There are Amish folk living there, but I've mixed together different types of Amish folk. So it's realistic where they are, how they live, but it's not a specific place. It's not based on a particular person or Amish group or district.
Okay. I'm gonna begin to wrap this up. Do you have any books that will come out soon? Any ideas that will probably be put on paper?
Well, beyond The English Fall, which I'm looking forward to being a major motion picture. I do have other books that I'm working on. I have a couple of works of science fiction, one of which examines the rise of artificial intelligence and what impact that would have on our society. I got a couple others, but you just got all these ideas and you got to take each one at a time.
And where can you purchase The English Fall and your other title, Wickersnides?
Both The English Fall and Wickersnides, which is a young adult fiction. Y-fic, is that a fair way to describe it?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah, fine enough. It's a kid's book. Both can be purchased on Amazon. They're available just by searching for them. And you can get them either as a physical book, and both are also available for your Kindle.
And to say that again, The English Fall and Wickersnides are both available on Amazon for physical purchase and for your Kindle. And I believe, is The English Fall for Kobo and Nook?
Not yet.
Is Wickersnides for Kobo or Nook?
Neither one. My nonfiction book, The Believer's Guide to the Multiverse, which was published by Shookfoil Press last year, can be had on Nook and Kobo and on Amazon.
Okay, thank you. I've been talking with the distinguished sci-fi writer, David Williams. Thank you very much. Remember, for only $14.99, you can get The English Fall in your house. Or, if you're more into action-adventure, pick up a copy of Wickersnides at Amazon.com. Or, if you're into a blend of science and religion, check out The Believer's Guide to the Multiverse. All these books and more are written by David Williams. Are you gonna buy the stupid books or not? Are we done? Yeah, we're done.